Did you know that based on an article from statisticbrain.com from April 2nd of this year, only 23% of all schools in the U.S., both public and private, have uniform policies implemented? From pre-K all the way through 8th grade, I was enrolled in a small private Catholic school, and so every single day we were required to wear uniforms to school. After 8th grade, I moved on and I went to a public high school where we had a dress code, but it wasn't very strongly enforced. So because of that, I have seen what uniforms do for a school and what having a not very strong dress code does for a school also. So from my experiences, I believe that a uniform policy is best for all schools. Every single day, you as parents send your children to school solely to get an education. That is the main focus, and that is what they should be focused on every single day whenever they actually go to school. So, whenever your kid wakes up in the morning, they shouldn't have to worry about looking good or what they're going to wear to school just because they want to get socially accepted or they don't want to have to deal with peer pressure about what everyone thinks of what they're wearing. I know that personally, whenever I went to the private school, we had one free day a month where we could dress however we wanted with a few guidelines, of course, but even in those 1 days a month, there were girls who would say, why did you wear that? Or why did you choose that to wear on your one free day a month of whatever you could wear? So really, those are just really unnecessary comments, and they make people think twice about what they're wearing, and they're at school to learn, and that should be their main focus. So peer pressure just adds to that, and that's just another whole issue. Those years of middle school and high school are critical for self-development in adolescence, and having a good self-image of confidence and how they feel about themselves is very important at that age. Uniforms have also been proven to deter criminal activity on campuses, a lot of different types of criminal activity. Actually, in 2012, a study done at Sparks Middle School in Nevada based on procon.org, there was a 63% drop in police log reports made only 1 year after a uniform policy was implemented. Another thing, especially in inner city schools, there's a lot of gang violence that's associated solely based on what a student is wearing. So if one student sees another student wearing a certain color or symbol on their clothing, they know that they're affiliated with a certain gang, and that just promotes fights and violence and all sorts of things. I know my father personally, he worked in inner city schools in Houston for 25 years, and in most of the schools he worked at, they ended up implementing a uniform policy strictly because of that. It's a huge issue. Another thing that it promotes is theft. So I know personally also in high school, I was a victim of theft in the locker room after my volleyball practice one day. I wore a very expensive pair of jeans and a very expensive pair of earrings to school one day, and someone must have seen me wearing them and then knew that I was going to be in volleyball practice, because I was the only person that got anything stolen from them that day, and they went through my bag and stole my earrings and my expensive jeans. So having a uniform policy in place would have deterred that, because nobody's going to steal the same clothes that they're wearing. Based on a 2010 study by researchers at University of Houston, absence rate in girls went down by 7%, and that's based on a study from naescp.org. Whenever uniforms are in place, improvements all across the board are seen by students, by peers, by administrators, by parents, by everybody. So there's improvements all over the board. Actually, based on a study by the U.S. Department of Education website from 1999, which was only 2 years after the Long Beach of California School ISD implemented uniform policy, in just 2 years, the crime rate dropped by 91% once a uniform policy was put in place all across the district. So that's a huge percentage of crime that's being deterred solely based on the uniform policy that was put in place. Also, a 2013 survey based on landsend.org, which is a national uniform supplier, student achievement rose by 64% and attendance improved by 44% based on what all the administrators were surveyed. So basically, you can see that uniforms have helped schools all across America. They help to deter crime. They help to promote attendance and punctuality. They promote a sense of professionalism in the school place because, let's face it, once everybody is done with school, they have to get a job. And in a job, there's either a dress code or there's some sort of uniform policy in place. And so that just gets them prepared for what is coming after school and promotes a sense of professionalism. So with that being said, I encourage all of you to go home and to talk to your children, because they are students and they are the ones who are facing this every single day. So talk to them and see what their concerns might be, and see how they feel about a uniform policy being put in place, and see if they share the same concerns that you do. And if they do, even if they don't, you should definitely make an appointment with a school administrator, or maybe talk to other parents, because there is in fact power in numbers. And if you do get together and maybe go to the next school board meeting and start a conversation, there could be change to come with everything. So with that being said, make a change.